about to have a very uncomfortable conversation. It all begins with a very simple experiment. We have two glasses. One glass is full, the other is poured until it reaches 80%. Meet Kalia, who is 5 years old and about to enter grade 1. Kalia, if a boy gets the full glass and you always get the not so full glass, is this fair? Yet, when Kalia grows up and enters the working world, on average she will experience a wage difference scale similar to these two glasses. We call this the 80% problem. Irrespective of age, gender, or nationality, virtually everyone recognizes the inequity of the
C'est la qualité
situation.
du travail effectué et non si la personne qui a effectué le travail est un homme ou une femme.
包括薪资、工作种类，还有福利待遇。
Oftentimes, men are able to do more at work, spend more time, put more attention into work, only because they are having some kind of like a home manager who is caring about everything that is happening at home, with a car, with insurance, with kids, with schools, with family occasions, with everything. And that name for the home manager often is just a wife.
It is a positive that we can recognize this is a major issue in societies around the world.
Today, women account for almost half of the workforce.
The reality, though, is that in nearly every job, more than 90% of the occupations, women still earn less than men.
This disparity persists, despite the fact that pay equity is a human right.
I think if you distill all of these issues down that we're talking about, they are simple matters of fairness.
The irony, of course, is that most of our world leaders are men. When it comes to the gender wage gap, for most, it is as simple as equal pay for equal work.
What's left unsaid is, how do we define equal? I think it's easy to accept that if a man and woman both have the same qualifications for the same job, the person that works more hours should get paid more. But how do we compare different jobs? How do we compare the worth of a firefighter versus a nurse? The worth of a teacher versus an engineer? Both who work the same number of hours.
To understand how the gender wage inequalities have developed and persisted over generations, we can look at occupational segregation. Men and women have historically worked in different jobs that may pay differently. We can also examine demographics, such as age. Education levels have historically played a role. The motherhood effect is prevalent. The major systemic issue left for the remaining 7 to 8%, and perhaps the most difficult to tackle, is outright discrimination.
There is an elephant in the room.
Indeed, Kalia, there is an elephant in the room. Most issues women face in the working world pertaining to the wage gap are the same issues ethnic minorities face.
I'm accustomed being excluded, but it is not fair, obviously.
I feel kind of defeated, like what can I do? I feel like anything that we do, it's just like it's brushed off and it's like nothing really changes.
Why are we more inclined to acknowledge, discuss, and address the gender wage gap, and less so for the ethnic minority wage gap in jurisdictions around the world? At the end of the day, equity between men and women, non-ethnic minorities and ethnic minorities will require generational patience. The hope is that we radically reduce the 80% gap to a 90% problem, and ultimately achieve near equity in wages between the concerned groups.
What does being a minority versus a non-minority have to do with the amount you earn?
It makes sense to focus on women. They make up half of the population. Racial minorities, by definition, make up less than half of the population.
Structural inequalities and rectify them.
In the organization.
I'm hoping that at least when my children grow up, we will be able to overcome it.